Hello everybody, my name is Martin Stenzig. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Vesta Partners, and I'm here with Peter Dunford, our Regional Head for the Asia Pacific Middle East region. We're here at Mastering SAP EEM 2018 in wonderful Gold Coast, Australia. Peter, we went into a workshop yesterday that you facilitated about risk-based maintenance. So tell me a little bit about the risk-based maintenance approaches, and do we finding them in asset strategies today?
Okay, so we had a number of customers and clients in the room, and we asked them the question about whether they had an asset management strategy or not, and if they had that strategy, did it actually contain elements that would lead to a risk-based maintenance approach to the way they actually carry out their maintenance. So this is about making sure that they actually consider the risks around things like operational, people, costs, safety and environment, and that these were the things that they would consider the probability of failure and the consequences of those failure, and then they would be the things that would actually drive their maintenance activities and the maintenance tasks that they would put into their maintenance plans.
So what was the outcome? What kind of, did we see a lot of companies adopting that kind of ISO 55000 mentality these days?
We had about 50% of the people in the room that represented companies that had either started to do something and had some implementation experience, and probably about 50% of them that might have been thinking about it, were interested in it, weren't quite sure what it was, and or had done nothing yet and were still trying to learn about it.
Yeah, so talking about those barriers, what were the findings that we actually heard that companies run into? What are the barriers of adopting really a risk-based strategy?
Okay. The most popular barrier that came up, which is an old chestnut, which is data. So for many years that's been a problem for many companies, and data is the thing that repeatedly came up as the thing that would be the biggest barrier. In some cases it wasn't just that the people didn't have the data, it was also that if they did collect data, that they had so much of it they actually didn't know what to do with it, and they needed to turn that data into information to get any benefit from it.
I think that's sort of a common theme we're seeing, that data is good. Sometimes it's too much data that we can't process and turn into information.
Yeah.
Other times data quality is not matching what we really are looking for in order to get business value out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the next question, if I remember correctly, you asked is, what are the gems that you can recommend to your peers in order to sort of do risk maintenance properly? What do you remember? What were the gems that we heard?
Yeah, so once again there were a number of different gems that were put forward by each of the teams. The most popular one really centered around the category of people. So about people having the right mindset, people being aligned with exactly what had to happen, having the right leadership in place that was driving towards the vision for what they were trying to do, and then trying to change old behaviours. So we categorise those as being people issues and organisational change issues, and interestingly, in many aspects of what we're trying to do in the digital world and to move forward, people are one of the key things that have to get right, and that was certainly one of the key things that people spoke about.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the last thing you touched on in that group was what kind of systems are we using right now? What have you seen, and either yesterday in the session or also in your experience, what are the systems that we're seeing out there that are sort of covering this risk-based maintenance approach?
Okay, so a number of people obviously use SAP and use different parts of SAP to try and undertake this. There are some new products available in SAP, the Asset Strategy and Performance module, Predictive Maintenance Service, and people are starting to look at how they can use those tools, certainly. There are a number of other tools that people are also using, things like Meridium. There's also the Power Plan products that are available, and there are also people doing things with spreadsheets and doing a lot of manual stuff as well. So there was a bit of a mix of systems, and not necessarily one favoured mature option at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it's also fair to say, I think from my what I've seen on my table that I was sitting at, that there doesn't seem to be a prevalence to necessarily wanting to change or wanting to mature into a system. I mean, if people have the policies in place or the asset management plans in place that are based on Word. Some of them say that's just good enough. So.
Yep. Okay. Yes. It was definitely interesting because SAP has some products which have just recently been released, and people are still trying to find out quite a bit about those. And I guess there hasn't been a big take up of those yet. I guess we look to see in the future that those things are going to start to shape the way people do this.
Perfect. Thanks, Peter.
That's all right. I think the other interesting thing about the workshop was that we actually had 45 people attend, which was a very, very high level of attendance, which I guess showed us that risk-based maintenance is something that people are very interested in this region, and it's something we'll certainly take on board.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.